guys, and welcome to my channel. I love carbs. So today I just want to talk about something that I've been seeing becoming quite a trend lately. In fact, it's been for the last couple of years I've seen it becoming a trend, but seeing a lot of my friends now starting to pick up the vein. And I just want to say that I just want to say what I need to say about it, and that is regarding a high fat low carb diet. Alright, basically known as in some countries known as the Banting diet, some countries known as paleo diet. Here in the UK we just call it the paleo diet, and it's just filled a lot with animal products and animal meats and eggs and even vegetables that contain a high amount of fat, avocado being one, and just a little bit of salad, you know, nothing too serious, just a little bit of salad. And that really bugs me because yes, you'll lose weight for sure. It might have the ability to reverse type 2 diabetes because you're not getting enough glucose into your body, so insulin doesn't need to work as hard, and so your blood sugar level won't spike. But you're not doing yourself any favors. Take for example, I remember when I used to be a meat eater and I used to sit down and have a roast dinner, and I used to really enjoy the meal. And shortly afterwards, after finishing the meal and, you know, getting up and help tidying up everything, the only thing I would want to do is sleep. I would just want to sit down on the sofa or lie down on the sofa and have a little kip. And now that I think about it, it rings a lot of alarm bells. You know, why do I feel so tired after having such a good meal? Why do I feel like the only thing I need to do is sleep? My mind feels hazy, my legs feel really heavy, and I just don't feel like I can cope for the next 2 hours. Why do I need to fall asleep? And that's because of a fat in the bloodstream. So when you digest a high fat meal, whether it contains a lot of carbs or not, it doesn't matter. When you have a high fat meal, that fat gets into our bloodstream and causes the blood cells to coagulate and to come together, which slows down your circulatory flow and deprives most of the body of oxygen, including your head, including all muscles, including all vital organs and everything like that. And the only thing you want to do is sleep it off. And that's your body's mechanisms of coping with a high fat meal. And alongside of that, you're not really doing any favors for your insulin levels, because insulin can't get to coagulated cells that are reading really high in carbs, especially if you have a lot of carbs. For example, if you have a roast dinner with a lot of potatoes, you got to have a lot of carbohydrates in your bloodstream, and that will make your body register that your bloodstream has a high amount of sugar, and then it will send out insulin. If insulin can't get there, it will only send out even more because it's still reading as a high blood sugar level. And so insulin, as we know from various sources, insulin is an anabolic steroid and will only make you grow. And so I don't see how that's doing any favors. But when it's a low carb, high fat diet, yes, I can see that, yeah, you are going to lose weight, but eventually you got to blow out. Something's going to happen down the line, and because you're having a high fat diet, you got to have a load of health implications that will just cause you to stop eating a high fat diet and start eating more carbs. And when that happens, you're just going to gain weight. It's short-term thing. It's a short-term thing. But having a lot of fat in the blood will only lead to arterial diseases and things like that. Number one being heart disease. Have a look at this picture of a heart from an obese person. It's just covered in fat. Now don't get me wrong, just because you're obese does not mean you have a lot of fat in the blood. Skinny people can have a lot of fat in the blood and do the exact same harm. Alright? Skinny people can have high cholesterol levels as well. Skinny people can have issues, you know, with Alzheimer's and strokes and things like that. You don't have to be obese for that to happen. Okay? So you're not doing yourself any favors by eating a high fat diet. Okay? It's just purely that simple, because when your blood circulatory system slows down, the only, you know, most of the blood gets absorbed into your bodies and stored as lipid fats, which is just the flubby stuff, you know, that people complain about a lot, and I used to complain about it quite a lot. But also some of that fat begins to line the inner wall of your veins and arteries, and over time this eventually builds up and it becomes really stiff, and it can cause high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, I really highly recommend you cut out fats from your diet completely. Go vegan, go plant-based, go fruits, go vegetables, go as low fat as you possibly can. Get rid of all the animals and get your blood flowing again. After about 6 months of me being on a vegan diet, my pulse rate, my resting pulse rate when I wake up in the morning or when I go to bed was sitting anywhere between 35 and 40, which is really, really low. Sometimes, most of the times, it'll be sitting around 42. Some days lately now it's been sitting just under 40, and that's a really good pulse rate. If you just wake up and naturally and take a pulse rate and it's nice and low, then you know your blood pressure is low, because your body's not pumping hard enough. Your body's not pumping hard to push blood around. Check your blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, go low fat. You're not doing your heart any favors by making it continually work. And I think that's the key to longevity, is to make sure that your heart has the ability to function at its optimum without a lot of stress on the heart. And that's why it's good to exercise, because you make it strong. That's why it's good to have your veins clear, because it can work easily, and the rest of your body will just be able to have oxygen, and it will have carbohydrates, it will have amino acids, it will have everything that it needs to function correctly. So those people out there who do think high fat, low carb is the way, it's not the way long term. It's going to mess you up so bad, so bad. If you're doing it to get rid of type 2 diabetes, you're not doing yourself any favors. You may lose 1 or 2 stone, but eventually, you know, it's going to catch up, and it'll catch up in other ways. It'll catch up, or a heart attack, it'll catch up as a stroke, Alzheimer's, arthritis, and it's not something you really, really want to play about with. And there's scientific evidence to support this. Have a look at this website, nutritionfacts.org. Dr. Neil McGregor, he's a great source of information, and basically he's a doctor that just trawls through thousands and thousands of research, medical reports, and clinical trials, and he just brings down all the information and presents it in an understandable way, so that you and I can understand and glean a lot of information from. So check out his website, because I think it's a vital tool if you are really, really interested in losing weight, in getting healthy, in getting super fit. That is the place to go for sources of information, because it is a really good source of information. All I have to say is high carb, low fat is the way. I don't have much fat in my food. I have about anything between 0 and 3% fat. I don't go above that. It's not because I don't want to, it's just because I don't think it tastes nice. I don't really feel the need to have a lot of fat in my food. I don't really reach for chocolate or milk or anything like that, because that fat is being taken care of. I don't need a lot of fat in my life. And there's another video of why people binge on fats, which I'll post later. But as for now, all my fat cravings are being satisfied by fruits and vegetables and a lot of starches, including rice and potatoes. So, you know, you got to satisfy this desire to reach for the fatty foods. And yeah, that's it. So please, if you are on a paleo diet or the Banting diet or the high fat low carb diet, I strongly recommend you have your bloods checked out, you have your heart rate checked out, you have everything checked out, and do yourself a favor. Look after your body. Invest in your health, because it's the only thing you got.